Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new around here, welcome back. If you're a returning viewer, my name is Alex and I'm a private pilot. In this video, I want to talk about the FAA Private Pilot Airman Knowledge Test, otherwise known as the Private Pilot Written Exam. If you haven't seen my last couple videos, which I can link here, I talked about the overall process to get your private pilot's license, and I also talked specifically about my personal experience, everything from how long it took me, how much it cost, all of the details, and my specific journey to getting my private pilot certificate. So if you're interested in that, go take a look at those videos. My overall goal of the channel is to document and share my aviation experiences as a low-time, fairly new private pilot. So be sure to subscribe to the channel to follow along. We just hit my first goal of 100 subscribers a couple months ago, and we are well on our way to my next goal of 500 subscribers. So be sure to hit that button in the bottom right corner of the video to subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon as well so you can be notified next time a video drops. I'm hoping I can also educate and encourage those of you interested in flying, whether it's just as a hobby or maybe even a career in aviation, to go ahead and get started with your flight training. So with all that being said, let's get into the FAA written exam. So to get started, you might simply be asking, what is the FAA written exam? The test was created to assess a pilot's knowledge of aviation-related concepts, so it'll test your understanding of both ground and flight topics. It is 2 hours long. It contains 65 multiple choice questions, up from 60 questions a couple years ago, and those questions come from the FAA's Private Pilot Test Bank. You'll do the test on a computer at an official PSI testing center, and you need a 70% minimum to pass the exam. In terms of timing, you can really take the exam whenever in your training. I recommend taking it as early as possible, but you will need a logbook endorsement. So you can either get that from an instructor. You'll be doing your ground training with your instructor, and whenever he or she feels that you're ready for the written exam, they will give you a logbook endorsement and you'll bring that to the testing center. Or if you're doing your ground training through an online ground school, once you complete enough training and get the minimum required scores on your practice tests, you'll get an electronic endorsement from your online ground school. So most people recommend getting the written exam done right after your first solo flight. I'd recommend the earlier the better. This way you can study, you can knock it out, get it out of the way, and then you can really focus on your flight training and preparing for your check ride. One way to get your studying done quickly and get the written exam out of the way is to purchase the Sporty's Learn to Fly course, or you can purchase the Sporty's Deluxe Learn to Fly course like I did. This comes with a ton of extra goodies to aid in your studying and your flight training. So with the Deluxe Learn to Fly course, you'll get the Airman Knowledge Testing supplement book. You'll get a electronic E6B flight computer. You'll get a couple textbooks. So you'll get the Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge as well as the Airplane Flying Handbook and a sectional plotter. So a few of these things will aid in some questions on the written exam, so you can bring those with you. And with the Learn to Fly course, you also get lifetime access. So you'll get a login and password. You'll be able to access the coursework whenever you want. And if there's any future updates, you'll get access to those as well. So for example, I just got access to some of the 2025 updates they made. There's a lot of really cool stuff. And I purchased the course back in 2022, and I still have access to all of that. So pretty cool features and something I definitely recommend. If you've already started your ground training or just don't want to purchase the Learn to Fly course, I know it's a little expensive, so I can provide Amazon links to all of the products I just mentioned in the description below. I'm an Amazon associate, so if you make a purchase using those links in the description, I'll get a little bit of a commission that helps me and helps the channel grow. So I appreciate you using those links, and thanks in advance. The next topic I want to talk about is how to prepare for the written exam. So I'm going to get into the Learn to Fly course, how to use it, and give you guys some tips and tricks as to not only pass the exam with the minimum 70% score required, but get into the 85 to 90% range, or maybe even higher than 90%, or better yet, let's even go for that perfect score. So let's navigate to the Sporty's course login page and get logged in. Now, I haven't used other online ground school sites, but I'd imagine they're fairly similar in how they're laid out and organized. But you'll click on the private pilot course once you're logged in. And once you're on the main screen, you'll see down the left hand side there's drop downs for video training, test prep, FAA handbooks, and training resources. The first thing I did to start was just take my time and go through all of the training videos. They are organized chronologically and how you need to learn. So, starting from your first few hours around the plane and then eventually getting into more complex theories and maneuvers. There's practice quizzes with a lot of the videos, there's interactive videos, and there's all sorts of good information and references to help you learn. Once you've gone through all of the video training, you can navigate to the test prep page on the left hand side, and in there you'll see there's options for starting a new study session, taking a practice test, and your study history. If you start a new study session, it gives you all sorts of options in terms of how you want to review topics and study. You can answer questions from specific categories, do random questions, questions you've previously answered correctly or incorrectly, and new questions you've never answered before. I liked doing specific categories because then I could really hone in on what I wanted to review, and if I wasn't doing well on specific topics, I could keep reviewing those and practicing until I eventually got them all correct. For the specific categories, you'll see it has them all listed, and then it provides you with history in terms of how well you've done in prior study sessions. So it gives you a percentage of correct answers for all your study sessions, your last 3 sessions, and then your most recent session. And then you'll see you can pick a topic or a subtopic, and it even lists out how many questions are related to that topic. So it helps if you want to do some quick review and only answer maybe 10 or 15 questions, or do a lengthier topic and answer 40 to 50 questions. Once you feel you've done enough review and want to start taking practice tests, you can navigate to that section of the website and you'll get a pop-up with a lot of helpful information on the written exam and how it works. It'll provide you with information on the exam itself, any required items you need to bring, how you can or cannot use certain test aids, and it'll give you information on how you can access test reports after you complete the exam. When you're ready, you can take the practice exams as many times as you want, and once you get 2 practice test scores of 80% or better, Sporty's will give you an electronic endorsement in which you can bring to the testing center so then you can take the written exam. The last thing I want to show is the study history page. This is super helpful because you can see all of the results from your previous study sessions and practice tests. It breaks everything down here and shows what topics you covered, what you answered correctly, what you missed, and gives you the opportunity to retake a test, practice only certain questions, and everything like that. Some tips I have while you're going through the videos and doing study sessions are, as you're reviewing topics, spend more time on what you don't know and less time on what you do already know. If you're crushing certain topics, move on from those and practice things that you aren't as familiar with. I found after doing a lot of practice tests and then going to the actual written exam that on the practice test, a lot of the questions are worded almost exactly like the actual written exam at the test center. So doing the practice tests gets you really familiar with how the questions are worded, using the test supplement book, and getting familiar and using your electronic flight computer. If I wasn't doing well on a certain topic, I'd revisit the videos or go to the Pilot Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, which again, I can provide an Amazon link down in the description below if you want to purchase a hard copy of that. You definitely don't need to read the Pilot Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge or the Airplane Flying Handbook front to back. I just suggest using it as a study aid and maybe take notes on the topics that you're struggling with as you're studying. Next, I want to get into the process of actually scheduling your written exam. All exams are scheduled through the FAA's PSI True Talent website, which I can link in the description below. You'll need to make sure you have your Federal Tracking Number, or FTN, on the IACRA website. You would have been assigned a FTN when you applied for your student pilot certificate. Once you're on the PSI website, you'll create an account with a username and password. After that, you'll select the certificate you are wanting to test for, and then you can navigate to the Schedule an Exam screen. You'll see a pop-up of the scheduling procedures where it'll give you all sorts of details on the testing in terms of when to arrive, what to bring with you, what materials are allowed and prohibited, and you'll have to hit the button that you understand and agree. You can then input your location and it will show you testing sites with available dates and times. So select the location, date, and time that works best for you. Make sure you verify the address of the testing center. Look up where it is, make sure that it's close enough and you can get there on time. You don't want to accidentally select something that you can't get to or that doesn't work for you. You'll select the date and time for your desired testing center, and then you'll get a scheduling confirmation pop-up with the final details before you click schedule. Now, for the fee for the written exam, it's $175, and you'll pay this online when you go through the exam scheduling process. The testing center will provide you with their own copy of the Knowledge Test Supplement book. They'll also give you blank paper with a pen or a pencil, as well as a transparent sheet with a dry erase marker, so you can use that with the test supplement book. You'll need to bring a valid ID with you, so a driver's license, government ID, military ID, or a passport all work, as well as your test authorization, so that's your logbook endorsement from your instructor or the graduate certificate from your online ground school. You'll also need to bring a sectional plotter or a protractor if you want it. You can bring a manual or electronic flight computer, or you can bring a small basic calculator that only performs basic functions. You cannot bring any scratch paper, notes, or references with you. Some tips and tricks I have for the written exam are to first get it done as early as possible. I didn't do my written test until after my first solo flight, about 6 to 7 months into my flight training. There's really no reason why you can't finish up your ground training and get your written test done. You don't want to interject into your flight training and have to stop and study and do your written test and then continue on. So get it done as early as you can, and it'll save you time and money. Next, be consistently scoring those practice tests in the 90% range. Sporties will give you your endorsement if you finish 2 practice tests in the 80% or better range. However, the required minimum score is only 70%. So if you're in the low 80% range, maybe you have a bad day, miss an extra question or two, all of a sudden you're not passing anymore. Sometimes we get nervous, or maybe there's a question or two on there about topics that you're not as familiar with. So be consistently scoring in that 90% range on the practice tests. Sporties lets you continuously hammer out those practice tests. So be consistently doing those and you'll be just fine. The last tip I have is to take your time during the exam and make sure you're reading the questions carefully. You have 2 full hours to complete the exam. You definitely don't need to rush. It's plenty of time. And then the night before the exam, make sure you get a good night's sleep, eat well, don't drink alcohol, don't be going out with friends, and then plan to arrive to the testing center early with plenty of time so you can be there ready to go. So that concludes all of the information I have on the FAA written exam. Hopefully that was helpful and you learned something. Be sure to like the video, leave a comment down below if you have a question or want to share your own advice with other subscribers and viewers, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. You can hit that button in the bottom right corner of the video to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can get a notification the next time a video drops. Thank you all for watching. Good luck on the knowledge test if you have one coming up. I know you are going to crush it, and we'll see you guys on the next video.